What's up, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with Tesla SPY and a couple of other tickers. I'm also going to talk about the jobs report that just came out and what's going on with the technicals. But just note that I am not a financial planner. Make sure you take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Mumu link. If you deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. If you deposit $1,000, you're guaranteed 15 in total, not to mention 8.1% APY on uninvested cash. The offer ends in a couple of weeks. Anyways, for Tesla, I just want to note that we're doing a good job at holding up. We're looking at 220 as resistance right now. If we break this, we will be looking for a bigger pump. If we reject here, we'll be looking for a move back down, but we're doing a good job so far. We are looking a little bit more bullish. We'll see how we end up reacting to this resistance. And I still think there's potential for us trying to get up to this high, close to 222. But so far, Tesla's doing a good job. So the question now remains, what is affecting the markets and what's going on for us moving forward? Please note that we just got the JOLTS job openings and job quits report. Job openings were at about 7.67 million, below expectations of 8.1 million. That's showing weakness in job openings, and job quits were above expectations at 3.27 million. That's above expectations. So we're seeing a lot of quits in the markets, in the jobs markets, and we're seeing very, very few openings compared to before. Headed along, summarized everything very, very well. It's very, very important to note that for the month of July, we saw one of the lowest job openings reports since January of 2021. And that's some big news because the weakness is once again very prevalent. Hiring picked up to about 3.5% in July from 3.3% in June. But overall, it's worth noting that this is a very, very weak report showing lots of contraction in the sector. Now, the Fed has mentioned that if we start to see more contractions in the labor markets, they're going to be react to that. So the market could be seeing this as a sign that the Fed is going to cut soon. That could be part of why we're pumping, but this could be very, very subjective and very, very ambiguous. So the importance of saying that is that the market could find its own interpretation of the data. It could either pump, it could have even dumped off the data, whatever it wanted to do. They use this as an excuse to pump the market so far, and that's what the norm is right now. That's part of why we're actually pushing. Now, for Tesla, there's some news that's coming out. Tesla is launching an actually smart summon. This is very important because this is a new driver assist feature that was supposed to come out about 2 years ago. That's when Tesla moved to vision only. New systems were basically now incorporated, and this is something that's very, very useful. This will actually help them to navigate parking lots autonomously without the driver inside of the vehicle. And I think that this would be very, very cool for people out there who are interested in using this feature. So I just wanted to call that out. It's making some headlines. But anyways, that's it for news and data. Let's focus on the charts. So we're testing this 220 area on Tesla. This is going to be our resistance. If we break this, I'll be looking for this 222 zone or a little bit under that. And then if we get above that, if we break this high right here, I think our next target is going to be up to 225 for this imbalance. Our support is going to be at this 217 area, not to mention 215. Then we have our EMAs in the 212 area. So those are going to be your support and resistance levels. One thing that's good about Tesla is one could argue is that we have slanted inverse head and shoulders, which gives Tesla more potential to push even higher, maybe try to fill some of these imbalances. So we could see a little bit more upside as long as we hold above 217. I do see some more potential in Tesla. But even if we do get a pump, just note something that Tesla has pumped and dumped, pumped and dumped, pumped and dumped, pumped and dumped and pumped and dumped many times. So even if we do pump up, there's still a possibility we come back down. So I wouldn't turn way too bullish quite yet. I think that Tesla's just seen a very, very volatile period where we're just in a range for now. That's going to be the most likely case for it. So we could push higher for now temporarily, but later on down the line, be careful as we hit resistance levels like at 222 and 225. For SPY, we're trying to push higher. We're about to test previous support becoming resistance at 553.8 to 553.5, that area right over there. If we break the 553s, our next target is to be all the way up towards 555. And I was talking about how, we could see a balance or a dump depending on the JOLTS job openings. The jobs report is causing the market to push, or at least they're using that as an excuse to push things higher. So we could still get closer to 555 if we break out of the 553s. But then we'll see if we get a rejection or not off that resistance. But so far, we are favoring a bit of a push. And SPY is trying to push up higher, so I could be looking for that. For support, make sure you watch. Our next support right now is going to be around 552.25 and 550. If we lose 550, we turn back to bearish. As of right now, we're trying to push higher, so I think we could get closer to 555 if we break out of the 553s. So SPY is looking a little bit more bullish for now at the time I'm recording this. but we'll see if the move lasts because we could always get a rejection later on. For Nvidia, we did a good job at getting back above this resistance near this 108 zone, a little bit of below 108. So now that we're breaking through that, I'll be looking to see if we can get back up to about this 110 area. That's the level I kind of marked up right over here. If we break that, we could be pushing all the way up towards the 113s. So we'll see if we can try to break that on Nvidia. If we lose support at 107, we're going to be dipping down to 104, but this is favoring upside for the 110 area. So we could be looking for a bounce on Nvidia. For Bitcoin is starting to dip right here. We have like a head and shoulders like structure. We're looking at our resistance at 57,950. We also have resistance around 58,900. Our support to watch for is at 57,000 flats. So we'll have to see how this goes. Bitcoin's been getting rejected off every single one of these pumps, so it could pump a bit and then start rejecting again. So be careful, guys. I wouldn't turn way too bullish. For ES is looking at this support at 5550. We also have resistance at 5580. It is possible we push a little bit, but then we'll see if we get a rejection here. I think we might push a little bit more, but then be careful as we hit resistance. For NQ, we look a little bit more bullish for the time being. Make sure you look at 19,000 as our resistance, and we have 18,800 as support. It is possible we push a little bit higher towards 19,200, closer to that area before we try to see a move back down. I think we may push a little higher, so watch to see what the reaction happens to be. For the QQQ, we're also trying to respond more positively, so we could be looking for a pushback up for that target up here at 465. It is possible. I think we might be pushing up there. If we break that, we're looking at 468, but then be careful because there could always be a rejection at one of those levels. So for now, look at 465 and 468 as potential targets if we break out of the 463s, but then be careful because we could always get a rejection. For Apple, we've been dipping quite a bit. We're actually testing our 200 EMA right over here. If we hold this, we could see a bounce on Apple back up to 222. And if we lose 218, we could be dipping lower. We'll see how it goes here. So far, we're holding 218. As long as we're above 218, we could rebound. The Russell 2000 is bouncing off the 200 EMA. With this bounce coming, we're going to be looking for 216 as our resistance. We held 212. If we lost 212, we'd be looking for 208, but we held 212. So we're looking for 216 as potential targets so far. But even if we do push up there, watch to see if we get a rejection. For Coinbase, we finally got a bounce. I was talking about how it might be going to the low 160 area before we try to bounce. That's exactly what happened. We went down to the low 160 area before trying to bounce. We're going to be looking for 168 and eventually 172 as resistance levels. We could push a little bit higher, but watch and see if we reject. For Amazon, we're just range bound between 175 as support and 178 as resistance. I think we might just be range bound for now. But we could push a little bit higher for 178 on Amazon. Meta is also trying to rebound. We're going to be looking for basically this 517 to 519 area. Even if we do hit this zone, we could still reject. Just don't be overly bullish. Microsoft is also trying to push higher. We could get closer to about 212 to 214 if we hold above. I'm sorry, 412 to 414. Sorry about that, guys. If we manage to hold above 410, so we'll see if we reject off those areas. But we are looking a little bit more bullish. Google's trying to push as well. We're looking at 160's resistance. If that breaks, we're looking for 162. We'll see if you reject off those levels. So just be very, very patient nonetheless. So with that being said, guys, I just want to thank you all so much for listening. Hope you guys have an absolutely spectacular rest of the day. Tesla's trying to push right now. We're now at 220. Like I was saying, we could go a little bit higher, but be very careful once we get closer to 222. So give Tesla the time it needs. Just note there's going to be a little bit more upside potential for it. But as we get closer to tough resistance, you want to be very mindful of the fact that the market will enter a very, very tough state. Okay, so yes, we're pushing for now, but be careful once we get to tough resistance. Do what you have to do, guys. I'll see you guys very soon in a couple of hours, and peace out.